Hi there, this is Professor Nugent, and this is a video where I'd like to go over the basics of how to get started with our online course and go over the syllabus and a couple of key points I want to reinforce. Now, our class is MBA 512, Organizational Behavior, and we're going to operate the class through Blackboard. So I have our Blackboard environment set up here, and very important. The easiest way to keep organized is through announcements. So I do email students directly, and I post the backup of any emails under announcements. So in announcements here, the first announcement I have is the getting started announcement. So this is a nice little way to keep organized with the coursework. So here I have explaining the course. Go to course documents to find the syllabus, class notes, and lectures. That would be your first step. Then watch the video syllabus. That's what I'm recording right now, so when I'm done I'll put the link in here. See assignments on the Blackboard menu. This is the orange menu here I'm talking about. And assignments is going to contain the quizzes and other links for homeworks. The discussion boards is another menu where we're going to be working in the discussion boards of various questions throughout the class. And then SB Connect, which I'm going to move that up underneath discussions, as it's important, and that's where we're going to have our office hours, and where you can come, click on SB Connect, it'll open up a room where we can talk, we can video, we can chat, we can share documents. So any type of work we need to do similar to what we do during office hours, we could do there. And then I'm going to have my hours once a week, Wednesday 1 p.m. or by appointment if you need one. Okay. Now, also in assignments, which I reinforced here, is we'll be having a quiz. We have 5 quizzes. Each quiz is 10 points, and they take place on various chapters, and the quizzes are multiple choice. I'll explain more of that when we go to assignments. Then I have listed the class schedule. So under the class schedule for week 1, you can easily follow what we're doing. Week 1, you're gonna watch the class introduction, the video syllabus. This is what I'm recording right now. You're going to read chapter 1, and I also recorded a YouTube video on chapter 1 of me giving a lecture on the chapter 1 material, and I also have one on the chapter 2 material, and I also want you to answer this week's discussion questions. So that is week 1. So you can follow this, weekly course schedule to keep organized with the coursework. Now that does not encompass the homework. That's a separate issue. This is just our classwork when I look at the class schedule. Now, for the first area you'd go to is announcements to see if sometimes I'll post an announcement that might pertaining to the class in some particular way or a reminder. And the second area here is the documents area, where the syllabus and the PowerPoints are all listed under this area, and we'll come back to go over the syllabus in a minute. I also have assignments. So if you go to assignments, the first assignment here is discussion boards. This is 20% of your grade. Each week I will set up discussion board topics, usually 2 a week. See the discussion board button, which is right here. We'll talk about that later. So I expect every student to post 1 original response and reply to at least 2 other students' responses with your thoughts and comments. And you earn points for your participation and the quality of your answers and replies. I mean, a simple reply of yes is not quality reply and would not be credited. Okay, and then I also have your quizzes. Now, you'll be able to see quiz 1. It's on chapter 1 and 2. The other quizzes are here, but you won't be able to see them. They'll open up after this quiz closes. So on Sunday the 15th, when this quiz is done, this link will close up and a new link will open up, and that will be the next quiz, and it will cascade like that. Now when you click on the quiz, okay, so you can save and resume the quiz later, anytime between now and the due date. So you could start the quiz today, and you could say, okay, I'm going to answer this question, and I'm going to answer this question, and this question, and this question, but oh, someone's knocking at the door, I can't do any more. So I could hit here and say, save all answers. Okay. And that will save my answers. And what was that message? Answers saved. Okay, so if I have to leave, and come back to the quiz the next day and begin it again, my answers will be saved. See that? Now, if you hit save and submit, this means you're done with the test and the quiz is over. You're submitting what you have and you get a grade back as soon as when you hit save and submit. So if you want to save it to work on it later, save all answers. But you have to complete it before the due date. Once you've completed, you have all your answers submitted and you're okay with it, what you've done, and you've double checked it. And remember, this is an individual assignment. It's a test basically, so you work alone. Then you click save and submit. And then it'll say here, I left a bunch of questions incomplete. And then it'll say, okay, submitted. And then you're done. Now, and I scored 0 out of 10 points. So I didn't get anything right. That could be a hint. If you look in there and see what questions I clicked, those are the wrong answers. Okay, so now you can only submit the quiz once. So you take the quiz, you're finished with the quiz, you submit it, you get your grade, it's done. You cannot redo it. Just want to make that clear. So don't hit that save and submit unless you're done and you're ready to submit it for a complete grade. Once it's graded, I cannot reopen it for you. But you can temporarily save it is one button, and save and submit finalization is another button. So just keep that straight. All right. Now we also have a couple papers. Okay, so the first paper is organizational culture profile. Now this is a paper. If you don't like to write and you don't want to write this paper, you can choose to do the Zoom simulation, 5 rounds of the Zoom simulation, but you can't do both. There's no extra credit here. So you can either write the paper, which I recommend for most students, especially if you use the simulation already. You can go ahead and just write the paper. If you've never used a simulation, and it's a very good simulation, it shows you how organizational decisions are made at various department levels and how they come together to do a year's worth of business. Each round in the simulation takes about an hour to complete. So either way, I mean, I think both assignments are comparable. If you're someone that you find this organization culture report interesting, by all means, I encourage you to do it. I do expect about 7 to 9 pages. It'd be written professionally, with cited with references to what you're writing, and these are the basic 5 questions I want you to answer in an essay format. And it's really about digging into one company, and it should be a public company. That's a must. It'd be much easier to work with public companies. Not a company you work for. I guess unless it's a public company, I guess that's okay. But no private companies, because I need to be able to verify the information as well. And you prepare a report on the organization. What's the cultural organization? What factors influenced or changed the culture of this corporation through time, and how does this affect the employees, society, and kind of general open-ended questions, but enough that you can really get in there and work with the company. Got to do a little research. You can contact the company directly, or there's many ways to work with this. So this is one project, and it's worth 15 points. Then again, you have a choice here. So if you don't want to write, if you feel that you tried it, you're just not doing well with this paper, you can always do the simulation. Now, if you choose to do the simulation, you have to decide which you want to do rather quickly, because the simulation, the first round is due Friday on June 13th, and then it goes through to August 10th, and we're only doing 5 rounds. Usually I do 6, but we're only doing 5 rounds of the simulation here. And it's going to be a team-based competition. And so I need to process everybody the same points. You can't decide to do the simulation towards the end of the class. I want to go back and do the simulation. You have to decide up front what you're going to do, write the paper or do the simulation. Okay, so that would be the first big assignment. Then the second assignment is the CEO profile report. And this is looking at CEO, Chief Executive Officer of a company, and really basically giving me a background on him, his philosophy, what are his leadership values, how does he view his organization, how does his management influence the behavior or the of the companies or the company he works for? What are their strengths, weaknesses? What did he contribute to the company? What's he really known for? Um, so it's a report mostly about a person. And if you do both reports, you have to make the two companies different between the company that you research their culture and then a different company for the CEO leader. So you can't use, say, General Electric for both. You have to have two different companies. Okay, and that report is also 7 to 9 pages, written professionally. So so that's it on the assignments. You have basically two reports, the CEO a profile report, which everybody's doing, and you have the culture or simulation project. Okay, now, so pretty simple. These are all the assignments. I'm not going to set anything else additional up. Now, the discussion board is a 20-point assignment, and you need to go to the discussion menu tab to do this. Each week, I'll post generally 2 discussion boards. So for the first week, we have post article 1. So here I want you to find an article online using there's various amounts of materials online that you could use, and I want you to post an article that's related to organizational behavior, a topic that could be very interesting and generate a lot of discussion in class. And I want you your report, you basically have to write a synopsis and a basic little report, which is you tell me the title of the article, the source, where you got it from, who the author is, the date, and the brief summary of the contents, and why you picked this particular article and how it relates to our class organizational behavior. So each student will post their article plus their introduction to the discussion board. You can post a link or the entire article itself, whatever you're comfortable with. And then I expect you to go in and to read some of the other students' postings and then reply to their postings. So that's one discussion board assignment this week. And then also, and I put in the top, the forums are only open for a 4-day period because I don't like them to stretch the whole week because everybody waits to the last day and no one really replies. So I try to keep it earlier in the week, and I'd like you to pop in. It'd be better if you made your postings in the first 2 days and then your replies in the last 2 days. So that way you could really have a good mix of people to look at and examples and things, maybe something's really important to you. You may reply to somebody else's that you have an interest in or extra knowledge about. Okay, so the second one is discussion question. So here's the question I post directly for the students. So I expect every student to post original response to this and at least 2 replies. And each post should be 100 to 200 words. So if you read page 7 of the textbook, the research insight, it has a little section that says women might be better leaders. Women might make better leaders. So what do you think of this study? Is it on track? From your experiences, do women lead differently? So these are the basic questions. So how does this work? Well, you click on discussion question, blue title, and you create a thread. And then you can title your thread right. And then you put in your response. I'm just going to say student response here. Okay. And then you just hit submit. Okay, so now your form is created. When a new student comes in, they'll create their own thread and create their separate thread. And then you can go into anybody else's thread, read what they have said, and then just click reply. And then you can just submit the reply. So here I'm replying to myself, but you can see my post and my reply to my post. Okay. And that's basically how it works. So you just click into discussion, you click on the link you want to work on, and then you just create a thread for your posting, and then you could reply. You can click into other people's threads to reply to their postings. So pretty simple. And then I change things up in the next week, July 17th to 20th. I'm going to have you do some self-assessment little quizzes in the back of the book, and then post some responses to those. And then I have a second discussion question. This one's about Facebook and employees. And then the third week, another self-assessment and another discussion question. So it kind of goes like that all the way to week 5. So, I mean, this will basically going on the first week. We're only doing the discussion board for 5 weeks because it was a 6-week class, so I have to give time for you to do the other assignments. Okay. And then we have the SB Connect room. And so here is a room where you just log in with the same login and your net ID, and you enter the room. And I'm actually creating the room because I'm the one who's going to be leading the room. And it creates a meeting area. Here's our meeting area for SB Connect. And I'm the only one in the area. And I could share my computer screen with you. I can go to a discussion mode where we chat back and forth. You could chat to me to everyone. You could chat to me privately. I can give you a microphone. I can talk on here. I can give you the microphone. You can talk back to me. So there's even video, but I usually don't set the video up. Okay, so that's where our office hours will be. Or if it's you need a special meeting with me directly to discuss something, we can arrange that as well. So let's go back and look at the syllabus real quick. Okay. So under documents, I have the syllabus. So I'm just going to click in here. And let's see. Okay, so our textbook is Organizational Behavior, the 12th edition. Now, if you think you want to work with a simulation, if you buy this textbook on campus, it comes with a free code to use the simulation. Because it's, I guess this simulation I'm using is affiliated with John Wiley, so it's attached to the book for free. If you don't think you want to use the simulation, I would suggest probably buying the book any way you want to. But it's definitely Organizational Behavior, 12th edition. From John Wiley. Now, I believe if you have, I'm not sure where I'm going with that thought. But anyway, I'll leave it up to you. You decide how and when and where you want to get the textbook. The class has 2 main components, asynchronous and synchronous learning. Most of the class, because this is a summer class and a lot of students have busy work schedules or international and maybe back in their home country and their hours are different from the Eastern Coast hours. So I've decided to make the majority of the class asynchronous, which means you come in and you log in and you complete the assignments on your own hourly timetable. I mean, there are dates and due dates in specific Eastern Standard Time, but you can jump in and work on the discussion boards during any hour of the day that you want. So we don't have to all be together at the same point in time. The synchronous part of class is I will be holding those SB Connect synchronous on where we could all meet together in one location on Wednesdays 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to have any type of group discussion or talk to me about anything or work on anything in a more of a classroom, multiple people environment, we can do that there. Okay. Now, the basics of the course description is I want to give you an understanding of how organizations behave and how the people inside of the organizations create these dynamic behavioral environments that are very interesting and very useful for businesses to study to help generate an environment which could be the most conducive to conducting business. Now, the specific learning goals of the course is I want to help the students, I want to help you understand what organizational behavior is and how understanding organizational behavior can make managers more effective and help the people they work with or work for or working for them be better and more productive employees. And I want to provide up-to-date, relevant information about the field, newer thoughts and research in the area. I want to prepare you for a successful work life and environment after school. Many of you may be working already, but I'm sure everyone can agree that your work environment could be improved. Now, this course has a lot of sociology and psychology in it. So it just makes you more self-aware of the workplace and your emotions, feelings, and attitudes, and how you fit in with with your coworkers. Now, I want this learning process to be active. So I want us to really, work well in our discussion boards, which are basically our class discussions, and our articles, which are our current events discussions. So I'm going to try to make the class as engaging as possible. I want to expose you to as much terminology and common organizational behavior, phrases and topics, and through popular literature and things of that nature. And I'll on occasion post articles myself and talk about recent things. And overall, I want to improve your communication skills, both interpersonal, written, listening, verbal, so you can function more successfully in a business environment. So these learning goals will be accomplished by us covering 12 chapters in the textbook. We'll have weekly quizzes, which I find helps to get you more in depth into the weekly chapters, perhaps even reading them a second time to help think about some of these multiple choice questions, get you a little bit more involved with the material. And of course, we'll have the homeworks and discussion boards. So class time, we have a lot to do. So our class time, which you saw on the overview board, is going to be spent listening to my lectures online, working in the discussion boards as our class discussion, and reading and thinking about the textbook. Like I said, my office hours are Wednesday 1 to 2, and we'll be using SB Connect. I will not be on campus, so office hours are online as well. The grades for the course are quite simple. The organizational culture report and or simulation, deciding which one you choose to do, will be 15 points. The CEO profile will be 15 points, and the discussion boards will be 20 points. So there's 50 points right there. And then we have 5 quizzes covering the 12 chapters, and that will be 50 points as well. The class works on a point system. There are no percentages. Everything is, I grade in points. So it's a 15-point project. I'll grade you between 0 and 15 points. You collect these points, and the amount of points you end up with at the end of the class dictates your letter grade. Now, I do expect each student to be prepared and participate, which means reading the chapters, posting generously on the Blackboard discussion boards. Now, the discussion board questions, I'm going to post usually 2 topics each week for you to be involved in, and I expect every student to make 1 posting and 2 responses. And I expect the responses to be generous and informative. Here, this is just, again, the same information from assignments about the culture report and the leader report that we were talking about. The same thing as I posted them assignments. And here again in the class schedule, I would refer to the announcements class schedule because that's where I'm going to embed the links, and that's much easier to follow. This is just an idea of the in the syllabus, but I would go with the announcements page where I'm going to actually embed the links because I'm going to be recording them throughout the class. Okay, and then any additional, there are no makeup exams or assignments will be given. There are no makeups. All deadlines will be strictly enforced. I expect all students to be professional when they're conducting themselves in class, in the discussion boards, when they're communicating to me or the other students, to be very respectful and courteous. Okay. Academic dishonesty, please do not cheat. In this class, do not collude and work with each other on independent assignments. I want you to be completely honest and with your work. I will not tolerate any plagiarism. And luckily for us, they have a Safe Assign, which actually goes out and tests any papers that you submit for the percentage of plagiarism compared to vast data banks of the internet and other articles stored online. Very useful tool for me. If you have a disability, we do have an office on campus that you can contact to help you get support for that. And here is my rubric on how I grade the paper. So this is basically how I'm going to grade your paper, what I'm looking for when I read over and grade your papers. Okay, so that's the basic simple of the syllabus, pretty simple here. And I'm going to go back to announcements. So now I suggest that you log in, look at our website, and go right to announcements and kind of follow this little schedule to get started. And I hope you enjoy the class very much. And please feel free to email me directly if you have any specific questions or problems about the class, and I'll help you out. Okay, great. Let's have a great class, and I'll see you soon.